Japan considering raising daily entry cap to 7,000 from 5,000 people. Hi guys, this is Alan. Welcome back to this channel, Gaijin World. And sa video na to, pag-usapan natin yung news. Ngayong March 3, Japan is considering further easing its COVID-19 border controls by raising the daily cap on entrance to 7,000 from the current 5,000 people. Government sources said Wednesday, yung original plan nila is from 3,500 people ay gagawin nilang 5,000. So ngayon ay kinukonsider na nilang taasan pa to 7,000 people daily yung makakapasok dito. On Tuesday, the Japanese government raised the cap for foreign nationals entering the country for purpose other than tourism and Japanese nationals returning from 3,500 and eased quarantine rules. So aside from increase from 3,500 ay tataasan nila to 5,000 or 7,000 ay mas i-relax nila yung quarantine rules. While it is not known when the government may raise the ceiling to 7,000, the sources said Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is expected to announce details at a press conference on Thursday. The government is facing growing calls for further easing of the cap to allow more people in, including foreign students, the sources said. Japan initially implemented the entry ban in late November to keep the Omicron variant of the coronavirus at bay. Easing of the COVID-19 border curbs from Tuesday came ahead of the start of the new school and business year in April. So yan yung balita na nakalap natin from Japan today. Punta naman natin yung Japan Times, and according dito, katulad din ng balita kanina, with thousands of students awaiting entry, Japan to raise daily arrival cap to 7,000. Japan plans to raise the daily limit of people allowed to enter the country to around 7,000 from the current 5,000, government sources said Wednesday. Foreign nationals planning to attend schools in Japan will be accepted regardless of the limit, as many students are waiting to enter the country ahead of the April start of the school year, according to the sources. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is expected to announce the additional easing of COVID-19 border control measures during a news conference Thursday. The plan comes after the government lifted its ban on new entries by foreign nationals for purposes other than tourism on Tuesday, while also raising the daily limit to 5,000 from 3,500. The ban had been in place since November to contain the spread of the Omicron corona variant. Still, there has been criticism that it will take too long for Japan to admit the roughly 400,000 foreign nationals waiting to enter the country, particularly the 100,000 international students awaiting entry. The government is considering starting to accept such students in mid-March. Will open the borders in stages, Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno told a news conference on Wednesday. For the national interest, it's better to open our borders. We need to increase the number of people entering or returning to Japan, a high-ranking government official said. Yan ang news galing sa Japan Times. And according naman sa Nikkei Asia, dahil sa nangyayari ngayon sa Ukraine and yung pang ginagawa na invasion ng Russia sa Ukraine, ay Japan to accept refugees from Ukraine. Kishida weighs separate arrangement from COVID border controls. So according sa news, Japan will take in people fleeing Ukraine amid Russia's invasion and consider options to work around stringent coronavirus-related entry curbs, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said Wednesday. While Tokyo looks to focus initially on those with family or friends in Japan, it will not limit entry to that group, Kishida said, adding that we will respond from a humanitarian standpoint. So yung i-increase nila na 7,000 people, hindi doon kasama yung mga refugees na manggagaling sa Ukraine, according kay Prime Minister Kishida. The move is noteworthy for a country that typically accepts refugees only in very small numbers. Japan allowed in some evacuees from Afghanistan after that country's takeover by the Taliban last year. We should essentially consider this separate from the border controls imposed by Japan to curb the spread of COVID-19, Kishida said. Proposals include allowing visa-free entry and accepting refugees separately from the daily entry cap on other arrivals, which now stands at 5,000. The details will be finalized in working level discussions going forward, according to the Prime Minister. Kishida earlier informed Poland, which borders Ukraine and has become a major destination for refugees, of Japan's plans in a call with counterpart Mateusz Morawiecki. The Japanese leader said he asked for Poland's cooperation in taking in Japanese nationals still in Ukraine and was told that Warsaw will provide as much support as possible. Sa ibang balita naman, Japan to extend antivirus restrictions in Tokyo and 14 prefectures. The government is set to extend the COVID-19 quasi-state of emergency in Tokyo and 14 prefectures as Japan has been facing a slower than expected fall in infection numbers due to the highly contagious Omicron variant, officials said Wednesday. The measure under which restaurants and bars are required to close early and stop or limit the serving of alcohol will likely remain in place until March 21, the official said. The government will formally decide on the extension after consulting with a panel of health experts on Friday. The 14 prefectures include Osaka, Aichi, Hokkaido, as well as the 3 areas neighboring Tokyo, Chiba, Kanagawa, and Saitama. Currently, 31 out of the nation's 47 prefectures are under a quasi-emergency, which can be more limited in terms of coverage and restrictions than a full state of emergency. The government will lift the measures in 11 prefectures while it remains undecided on the remaining 5, according to the officials. Infection levels are still high in urban areas and we haven't seen much improvement trend in the countryside, Health Ministry Shigeyuki Goto said at a meeting of medical experts. Japan's top coronavirus advisor Shigeru Umi has said a slow rollout of booster vaccine shots is one of the reasons behind infection cases remaining high. And according naman sa NHK World Daily News, Japan set to extend COVID-19 intensive measures in some prefectures. The Japanese government is set to extend coronavirus quasi-emergency measures in about half of the 31 prefectures where restrictions are in place through Sunday. Prime Minister Kishida Fumio will announce the government's plan on Thursday in a new conference after a discussion with related ministers. The government intends to keep the intensive measures in place in areas including Tokyo, Osaka, Hokkaido, and Aichi. It says an extension is necessary because hospital occupancy rates remain high, mainly in big cities. The government is thinking of extending the measures through March 21. Meanwhile, the government plans to lift the restrictions in prefectures including Fukushima, Nagano, Hiroshima, and Fukuoka, citing an improving infection situation. The government is expected to make a formal decision on Friday after seeking advice and approval from experts on its plan. In Thursday's news conference, Kishida is also expected to announce the government's plan to further ease its border control measures. It is considering raising the cap on daily arrivals from 5,000 to 7,000 people. Kishida is also likely to announce additional measures to prevent a sharp rise in the retail prices of gasoline and other fuels amid a surge in crude oil prices. So ayan guys, ang mga balita today, March 3, 2022. I hope nagustuhan nyo yan. Kung nagustuhan nyo, please like this video and mag-comment na rin kayo. Share nyo na rin to sa mga nag-aabang ng news related sa travel ban dito sa Japan. Thank you so much for watching. This is Alan and don't forget to subscribe to Gaijin World channel and hit the notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa mga ganitong klaseng news. And don't forget na i-check nyo yung aming YouTube homepage at puntahan nyo yung mga playlist namin dahil marami kami mga playlist dyan na makakatulong sa inyong pamumuhay or kung gusto nyo mag-aral dito, magtrabaho, or magkaroon ng driver's license dito sa Japan. Ayan, meron kami mga playlist na makakatulong sa inyo. Thank you so much again. This is Alan and don't forget na i-check nyo yung mga videos na lalabas dito sa screen. Ayan.